As I look around and I see, some of my children and we have conversations, and I notice the anger that not only they, but the whole world is feeling today. And it really, really is sad because, we are so addicted to social media. And in reality, what most social media wants us to do is to be angry. Why? Because the angrier that we get, the more that we get engaged. So it really doesn't matter. It's not about giving us content that's going to make us feel good or make us feel or become a better person. It's about giving us content that's going to make us angry. So we're angry. We're angry at the world. We're angry at everything. We're angry at our politicians. We're hateful. And I seldom hear people just talk about things that are powerful, things that will liberate us, things that would make us feel better. You need to realize this, and we all need to realize this. No matter how angry we get, with anger, we don't change anything in this world. The only thing that anger eventually leads us to violence. And who does violence hurt? Us. Doesn't it? Yeah, we might inflict violence upon someone, but in the end, we pay the consequences of it, so it hurts us. So interesting that we don't see people talking about what can liberate us, what can make us not feel so angry. Especially so, let's make it personal. I believe that the three most powerful words a person can ever utter to liberate you from everything, from probably the main cause, the root of all your hurt and pain, is I forgive you. Think about how powerful that is. I forgive you. But really, in reality, do we truly forgive people? Can we forgive that person that raped us? Can we forgive that person that assaulted us? Can we forgive that person that told on us? Can we forgive that person that cheated on us? That person that was unfaithful to us? And I can just give you a whole multitude of offenses. Can we? Our human nature is definitely not to. But here's what happens when we don't forgive. When we don't forgive, we don't hurt that perpetrator. We hurt us. Because the interesting thing is that no matter what happens in life, we carry that person, that act, that instance with us for the rest of our lives. Even if we go into a new relationship and we haven't forgiven that person that cheated on us, we carry that us. And then we have all kinds of doubts in the relationship, and we don't start with a pure relationship. But how difficult it is to forgive. So how do we find the power to truly forgive? Because it is only the moment we forgive, it's like you're bound to a person, right? And you're handcuffed to that person. And I saw this in church today. It was a very powerful, demonstration. And if you are handcuffed to that person, no matter where you go, you carry that person with you. No matter what you do, a new relationship, a new job, a new neighborhood, a new friendship. And it isn't until you forgive that person, that instance, that aggravation, and you let that person go, that you're able to go and do things free. So how do we find that power to forgive? For me, it is in the fact that I believe that I serve a God whose name is Jesus, who forgave me. Think about that. Who forgave me of the most grievous of all crimes. So if he forgave me, how can I not forgive others? It was like when I went through a very difficult time in my marriage, 7 years into our marriage, nearly got divorced. And it wasn't until the moment that I remember, no matter what I did, 2 weeks of counseling, things just kept going worse and worse and worse. And I was just praying and begging God to show me what had I done wrong. Not what my wife had done wrong, what I had done wrong. Because I realized I've been divorced multiple times before. And the common denominator in all my divorces was that I kept carrying myself into the new marriage. So it wasn't until one night in the mountains of Tennessee, and I was fasting and praying, with a very, very dear brother. And it was cold as hell. And we've been fasting for 3 days. His name is Ty. And we kept looking at each other, and we didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But, he hung in there with me. He fasted with me, he accompanied me with me, and it was the last day that we were there before I had to come home. Because I was supposed to be there for 3 days. I had got no notion of anything going to be different. But suddenly, I'm sitting there, and I start thinking and meditating, and I get this passage from the Bible in the Gospel of John. Now, mind you, my master's degree was in the Gospel of John. I read the Gospel of John hundreds of times in every different translation. I read it in Latin, I read it in Greek, I read it in Spanish, NIV, King James, New Living Translation, different Spanish translation. Read it multiple times. And all of a sudden, this verse comes to me that says, forgive you when you were a sinner. I loved you when you were a sinner. My God. Everything that I had done wrong just went through my mind. How can God love me when I was into pornography? When I was into dealing drugs? When I was not giving a damn if someone got killed or not? When I was cheating, unfaithful with my wives? How can God forgive me of all that? How can he love me then? Surely he could love me now that I'm trying to change my life and be a better person. But then, when I was a heinous criminal, yeah, but that was exactly when he loved me. And when his love transformed my life. Now, I'm not preaching you to accept Jesus and to change your life or become a believer, nothing. I'm telling you about Jorge Valdes, what I did, what happened in my life, how I became free. And it was slowly, because you remember, I've told you numerous times, I went into prison an atheist. Lived my life as an atheist. Didn't give a damn about the Bible. Thought it was all stupid and silly. And silly stories that any intelligent person could not understand, would not even dare believe. How can you have faith in a God that you don't even know for real if he existed or not? Legitimate questions. But faith is blind. And, it's like air. I don't know air. I can't grasp air. I know without it I die. I can't understand love. I can't understand hatred. But there are deep, deep emotions that are real and that exist. So the more and more that verse just kept going through my mind, the more I realized I had to love my wife, whether she divorced me or not, whether she did whatever she had to do. And that was the beginning of our reconciliation. It was the beginning of 17 more years, 18 more years of an amazing marriage where I wake up this morning, I told my wife, I don't deserve you. And I just thank God for you. You are the greatest thing ever happened in my life. And I thank God that I'm able to wake up in the morning after 28 years and look at you, sleep, awake, more and more in love every day of my life. So how was it? Well, for me, I had to forgive myself. And sometimes that's the first person we need to forgive. Sometimes we do things in life that we just don't forgive ourselves for. And we just can't imagine forgiving ourselves for. Sometimes we think it's hypocritical to even forgive ourselves. But I did. And then I forgave all those who had hurt me. All those people who cheated me when I went to prison for so many people. When I kept my mouth shut, didn't tell on anyone. When at the age of 23, I laid in the floor of a Panamanian jail being tortured to death. And still would not rat anybody out. And then I was cheated by the same people I protected. But see, I wasn't protecting them. I was protecting myself. I was simply being a man for me, for my children. It's what my father taught me. My word is all I had. We don't have no control in life, whether we're rich or poor, sick or healthy, dead or alive. All those things are way out of our control. We have absolute control, whether we're a person of integrity or not, whether we keep our words or not, whether we forgive or not. It's hard. It is very hard. And it might take a process, and it might take baby steps. But I guarantee you this, that until you forgive yourself or those who have hurt you, you will be in chains. And you will never be free. So I forgive because I was forgiven. And therefore, that was no choice but to forgive others. No matter how much someone hurts me or has hurt me in the past, it's nothing compared to how much I have hurt the God I call Jesus, the God I call my Savior. So, my brothers, my sisters, whoever your God is, He loves you. And believe it or not, He has forgiven you. So I ask you, think about those who have hurt you. Free yourself of that pain and that hurt. It doesn't go away immediately, but it begins by forgiving. And if the thing that the person we need to forgive is us, we don't have no control over those things that we have done in the past. The past is done. We have control of today and tomorrow. So start today by forgiving yourself, because the God you serve, whoever He might be, has forgiven you.